Can you imagine if somebody just walked up in the middle of the street and just murdered your son for no reason? I mean, imagine that you had a son, right? You had a son. He was your only son. You only had one kid. You didn't have any other kids. You raised this son your whole life, his whole life. You loved him more than anything. He was your whole life. And in his late 20s, early 30s, he's decided to give his life at just helping people. He was such a good person. He just wanted to go out and help the poor and spread the gospel. And so he's out in the streets just telling people about Jesus because he loves people so much. He just wants everyone to be saved and be with him in paradise and with Jesus in paradise for eternity, and everyone to have everlasting life. And because of this, some evil person just walks up in the streets and sees him preaching the gospel and just walks up and shoots him and kills him, right? The person you loved more than anyone else, that turned out to be a good person out there just trying to help people and change the world, is taken away from you by somebody that just didn't want people to hear about Jesus, just hated God. And then this person, right, he gets arrested, and the court date comes around, and he's standing before the judge. The judge sentences him to death. Can you even imagine in that moment, this person that took the thing that mattered to you, the person that mattered to you more than anyone else in the entire world, it was your whole life, this evil person took him from you. Can you imagine in that moment standing up and telling the judge, hey, judge, I know this person took my son from me for no reason at all, but I want to take his place and die in his place so that he can go free. Can you even imagine doing something like that? I mean, that's what Jesus does for us, though. That's what God the Father did for us. Paul tells us in Romans 5 that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. It says, now, nobody is going to ever be willing to die for like an upright person, right? But some people might perhaps be willing to die for somebody who is especially good. But God showed his great love for us in this, that while we were still sinners, while we were still enemies of God, Christ came and died for us. Jesus was on the cross praying, God, forgive them, for they know not what they do. For the very people that were driving the nails into his wrists and into his feet, the very people that were spitting on him, were the people that Christ was on the cross dying for. That's how much God loves us. Even though we did nothing to earn that, Jesus took the cross upon his back and took those nails in his wrists and suffered and died so that we could have everlasting life. That's love.